Hello, everyone. I'm Elaine Clayman from the Elaine Clayman Justine Bray team, and I thank you very much for tuning in for our weekly discussion about the market and about things you can do, etc. And I want to share a little backstory to help you understand why it's so important to me to be very straightforward, very honest, and so I feel like I've built my reputation over almost 34 years now on being very honest and people trusting me, and they've told me they've hired me for that reason. When I was about 7 years old, I told my sister a fib, and I did it because I wanted to make her happy. The happier she got, the more I embellished on the story. My sister was probably 15 at the time and mature beyond her years. And instead of making me bad, she sat me down and told me the story about the boy that cried wolf. And he would cry, a wolf is coming, and everybody would believe him. And he was not telling the truth. When a wolf finally came and he called wolf, nobody believed him. And that really struck a major chord in me as a child. And I have held that story very close to my heart. And that is why I want to always be very direct. I don't have to remember what I said because it's always the truth. So let's talk a little bit about the market today and the reality of the market today as we are experiencing it. A lot of people talk about the closings last June and compare it to the closings this June. And the closings last June are meaningless. They're totally meaningless because people were trying to close because they had imposed a SALT tax, S-A-L-T, S for salt, A for ends, L for local, and T for tax. Where buyers were able to deduct their taxes on their income tax return, they were now limited to only $10,000. So I do ask you, do you think that's going to affect real estate in New York? Taxes, investments, do people want to be limited on deductions? So I'll let you answer that for yourself. Right now, New York City is reverberating. It's not June 2019, it is in fact July 2020. We're dealing with a lot of factors and there's a lot that we have to digest. And I want to talk about both the near past and frankly, the near future. Like an investment in the stock market, buyers and sellers have to look at the short-term gains and losses and the long-term gains and losses. Psychology plays a big part of where we go. Just like in the stock market, we need to pay attention to the risk. And yes, age matters. And I'm going to explain a little bit more about that. In the short-term past, and I'm not going to tell you anything you don't know, this is more of a reminder to all of us. September 11th, 2001, a terrorist attack on our soil, not just US soil, but on the soil of New York City. Unimaginable, and yet it happened. It rocked our sense of security. Totally, as I say, unimaginable. 2008, so now we're going from 2001 to 2008. Less than 10 years later, Lehman Brothers, the strong financial institution that we trusted, declared bankruptcy. Again, unimaginable. It again shook our world. Real estate collapsed and collapsed for years. We started to recover, but slowly, limping along, not completely recovered. So now we're looking at 2011 and 12 that we're talking about. Slowly, we were starting to see people allow themselves to go forward, but not in leaps and bounds. 10 years later, we have COVID 2019. It's 2020. We have suffered unimaginable crises in this city. of course, in the country, but right now we're talking about New York City real estate. Will I see, and do I see people my age moving out? 20 years is a long time for somebody my age to want to stay and think about the future being wonderful with a great vibe again. People who are millennials see it in a different way. We're not staying, meaning people my age, unless there's a really good reason to stay. Family is here, work is here, but frankly, today work for a lot of people can be anywhere. The near future is unpredictable. Live one day at a time, which we used to strive for. We've unwittingly found, whether we like it or not, we are living one day at a time. We don't know when there's going to be a vaccine, if there's going to be a vaccine that's going to work, how the vaccine will be successful or not be successful. There's a lot of choices, a lot of things to think about. This city today, we can't close our eyes. We live in it. We know what it is. Crime is up 138%. That's huge. I have the Citizen app. It is going off all the time. Not pleasant. There is more looting and civil unrest, and we know that as people don't get what they want, we could expect more of that. It's not going to go away. Peaceful protests are there, but they are living alongside looting and more things that are totally unimaginable. Stores were unoccupied before we even went into this pandemic. It was depressing. Half the stores on blocks were empty. We don't know what's coming in. We don't know if anything's coming in. And then this happens. The vibe is gone. I mean, I went out for breakfast for the first time in 4 months this morning, sat outside when the waiter forgot to put his mask on the way to the table. I asked him where his mask was. He said he forgot to put it on. It was in his pocket. So everything I imagined as making me feel insecure manifested itself. I've said all that, but I would also, and now you're going to hear something that's going to sound odd, I also would not bet against New York. We have always come back, either a lot or a little, but we've always come back. We're still the financial capital of the country, maybe the world. Art and culture will return. It's a matter of when. And the question is, for whom will it return? I can tell you what I see. And the Elaine Clayman, Justine Bray team has our finger on the pulse of the market. In fact, brokers call us all the time to ask us what we see because of the volume of business that we do. We are indeed seeing offers, and nobody's more surprised than me. Who are they coming from? They are coming from millennials. They're not coming from grown-ups like myself. They're coming from young people. They have the time in their future to let the city come back. They have the money to take advantage of lower prices, not the old prices, but the 10 to 20% off prices. However, again, it's a buyer's market. Sellers not kid themselves. This is a buyer's market. I'm asking sellers to revisit Economics 101, supply and demand. More supply is coming on every day. I'm busier than ever. There are buyers, but not as many as you would like. And we do get some multiple offers when an apartment's in mint condition and priced correctly. It has to be both. Now boards need to pay attention. Within reason, I urge boards to pay attention, and I urge you to share this video with boards. Loosen up your restrictions a little. What I mean by that is don't jeopardize prices. However, let parents of good candidates help with gifting, help with co-purchasing, help with being a guarantor, permit dogs to come in, because frankly, pets are one of the top things people search for. By doing this, you will help maintain the prices in the building. The most searched for sector is dogs, so you just need to keep that in mind. Prices will go down more if boards do not loosen up. You will lose value on your apartments, in my very multiple decade professional opinion. My last piece of advice is, if you want to sell, think hard but not long. In my opinion, the longer you wait, the more you will lose. Feel free to contact me. Justine and I are available to Zoom with you. Let's talk face-to-face on Zoom. We'll discuss your needs. There's no obligation. And I thank you for tuning in, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you always have the latest on New York City, real estate. Again, thank you for tuning in.